You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that has always been based in Britain and always will be. I'm Buckingham Westminster.
I'm Merlin Camelot.
I'm Wallace Gromit.
Thank you for tuning in this week. We have an amazing show for you, a bunch of things we're going to be talking about. But first, let's go into some things we have been checking out.
Cheerio.
Cheerio, Pip Pip.
Pip Pip.
Check it out!
Bangers and mash.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
That joke was rubbish.
Quite.
Throw it in the bin.
Quite, yes, indeed.
So why are we mimicking British culture?
No, we don't need to get
We
into
don't need to get into it, but look, there was a Dateline thing, I think it was about a week ago or something. This guy that faked his death was arrested in Scotland. An American who faked his death has been living in Scotland under an assumed name and did an interview doing maybe the worst British accent we have ever heard in our entire lives. Also pretending like he can't walk and can't breathe and has to wear an oxygen mask. He's wearing that mask wrong, for one thing.
You would know.
Yeah, I would know. He's wearing it wrong. The actual stuff that the guy has done is pretty heinous. We don't want to get into, but that's what that is.
It's just wild.
Yeah, but we're still gonna have a good little jape at his expense.
We absolutely are. Rightio.
Bully good.
Bully.
Oi, governor.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about some things we've been doing this week. I have a very quick one. A while back, I was playing a kind of half-broken game on the Switch called Cult of the Lamb. They just had a huge content drop for it.
Oh, the new stuff came out?
The new stuff came out, yeah. And so I've been playing through it, and it's free. Like, it was a free update, and there's a lot of stuff they added to it, like basically a whole second game.
Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
there's a whole post game.
Oh,
that adds a whole bunch of stuff,
and it's thinking about that game for a while,
and it is still as broken as it was before.
Oh,
it has crashed on. It is soft locked on me twice, and it has hard crashed on me once, causing me to lose hours of progress.
So should I not play it on Switch then?
I would not play it on Switch.
I wouldn't. Yeah, play it on PC.
I would do the PC.
That's where
the PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's a me PC,
and it's a me mech.
But anyway, that's all I've really been doing this week.
Do we want to get deep into the Mario movie?
Yeah, let's get deep into the Mario movie.
It's a month in.
Yeah.
So we are going to spoil things. So, if you haven't watched it yet, if you haven't watched it yet, you're not going to.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I don't think any spoilers is going to affect your opinion of the movie or your enjoyment of it.
No, it's definitely not.
It pretty much hits the numbers. You know what you're getting into.
It's a by the numbers film.
Yeah. I don't want to say it was bad because it's not a bad movie. It's just a pretty forgettable, kind of meh movie, I thought.
It's tame. It's pretty tame. I think I ended up liking it a little more than you did. But it does have its faults, and it's not an A+.
Yeah, I wanted it to be so good. I'm such a huge Mario fanboy. Mm-hmm. I have been my entire sentient life. And I just don't want to give it an easy pass just because I clapped when I saw it type of stuff, which it's full of.
It's full of.
And it's fun.
To the brim, yeah.
It's fun, and there's a lot of stuff that's very cute that I liked. Mm-hmm. I love them being in Brooklyn and getting to see their family and the dynamic between Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
And, everything in the first 15 minutes probably is spectacular.
Oh, that's a lot of fun.
I could have spent more time pre-Mushroom Kingdom, honestly.
Sure.
But it just then it starts moving and then it doesn't stop and it doesn't It's shallow.
It more than just hits the ground running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full sprint.
No, it's like the rope is tied around somebody and they're being dragged behind the cart.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dare I say faster than the Sonic movie?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mario's got to go fast this time.
Yeah.
No, I will agree with that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the script had a lot more in it and it was chopped down for time, because it was a hard 90 minutes. It was an hour and a half long. It was like 1 hour 36, something like that. But I have a feeling there was at least another 20 to 30 minutes of film that they chopped out for time, and you could feel it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely feel it.
And I don't like that it was the Super Mario Brothers movie and Luigi was hardly in it.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
I get that they can't Damsel Peach the whole movie, and I wouldn't have wanted them to do that either. Mm-hmm. Like, you need her there to be your like person
guide.
Yeah, a person who knows what's going on.
You know what would have fixed that is if they would have spent a little less time with Luigi trapped and had him explore the Bowser Kingdom a little more before getting caught. Say, for example, he makes it to an abandoned house.
Some sort of mansion, perhaps.
Where there are some booze in there and he gets spooked by the booze. It would have taken maybe 1 or 2 more scenes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's even doing the whole shaky, Mario with the flashlight thing.
And again, that could have been something that was chopped out for time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Donkey Kong spends more time with Mario than Luigi does in the Mario Brothers movie.
No, that's fair. That is true.
Which, I mean, I thought Donkey Kong himself was great. I love Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Just seems right for some reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you why, but it does.
Because he's a big dummy.
Yeah.
It's because Donkey's a big dummy.
When the Seth Rogen laugh comes out of Donkey Kong, it's just like, yeah, that seems about right.
That's about right.
And he does it twice.
Yeah. But I hated the way they handled the Kongs.
Sure.
Because they just made up a bunch of stuff when they really didn't need to.
No, that's a fair point. I'm willing to give them a little more slack, not as a Mario movie, but as looking at it objectively as like, okay, they need to hit certain story beats, they need to have certain sets, and they can't have, well, like we were talking before, up until the point where we hit the Kong Kingdom, a lot of the movie is just walking to a place, talking to a person, walking to a place, talking to a person. They needed something that was visually distinct. Yeah. And by merging the Mario Kart ideas with the Kong Kingdom, while, thematically it doesn't fit, I think visually and like plot progression and like making a interesting film, the filmmaking aspect, I could see why they went the way they did.
Yeah. I think shoehorning the kart stuff in with the Kongs kind of kneecaps the Kongs and makes them less of who they are as characters.
And it also kneecaps Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Because, they could have done a whole thing. They could have done a whole second movie or a whole spin-off series of basically wacky races.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The big inter-kingdom Tournament of Champions race or whatever. They could have done that. They could have done a Mario Kart thing for the opening cinematic of Mario 2. Mm-hmm. The Mario 2 movie.
Like they could have made it all a spin-off mini-series on the streaming platform of your choice.
Sure.
I mean, that's what they're doing with Knuckles and the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
Like, save it for something else. Let Mario Kart be Mario Kart and let the Kongs be the Kongs.
I agree. I agree. But again, I can give them a little bit of a pass just because the movie needed something different at that beat. And
yeah, no, I get it.
I really feel like that little bully baby that bullies baby Luigi in that flashback, that could have been Wario.
That could have been Wario.
But it's Spike.
It was a blonde guy.
No, it's Spike.
It was a blonde kid.
He's wearing the sunglasses like Spike. It's Spike.
I could have sworn it was the little blonde child.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I mean, people, their hair changes when you get older.
True.
No, it was
My dad was a blonde until he hit puberty, and now he has jet black. Well, yeah, jet black hair ish.
It should have been Wario though.
It should have been.
Should've
No,
been
I
Baby
agree.
Wario.
No, that would have been great. I agree. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the final set piece when they go back to Brooklyn?
That was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I was fine with that. I think them getting the star and fighting back while it being exactly what you expect to happen was fun and interesting enough.
Yeah.
Like, and all the action scenes were like really well done and fun.
It's a
And-
good looking movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole jumping on the shells and throwing them around, and
Yeah. They definitely did that right. For sure.
I mean, made the sound and everything.
Yeah. All the sounds were like spot on. The licensed music was dumb.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, that's the thing. That's the whole Illumination thing.
Yeah.
That was bad. What was it? They Van Halen's Jump. They wanted to use that as the climactic music.
Oh no!
For the end, instead of the orchestral version of the Superstar music, they wanted to use Van Halen's Jump because get it? They jump.
They jump. I mean, they could have used that over the training montage.
Yeah, they could have done that. That's true.
The only song that didn't make me cringe was the Beastie Boys, and only because it's like, well, they're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need AC/DC in the Super Mario Brothers movie. That's not tonal. That's not a tonal fit. It just didn't need to be there. There's so much good Mario music.
And a lot of it is there.
Yeah. And it sounds great. Like, what's there is fantastic.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Makes it hurt even more that there's not more of it.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any thwomp.
You're right.
There were no thwomps.
I don't
didn't see
remember any
one
thwomps
thwomp.
either.
I mean,
Well, they were outside protecting Bowser's castle. They weren't inside. They weren't allowed inside.
Yeah.
You can't
Also,
let thwomps in your house.
also
No.
just the weird thing, the
Well,
fact
the doors are too small. You can't let them
That's
in.
true.
also the fact that, like, you know, Bowser's castle / ship is all one thing. It's this big floating lava island.
I didn't like that. Bowser has established very cool flying ships they could use instead of just like making this weird big island that floats around.
Yeah.
Like,
But again, they could also use that for the second film.
true.
You don't want to put, again, you don't want to throw everything into the first one because then you have nowhere to go with the second one.
Of course, then you've got, like, you know, Bowser's Shogun Castle from Mario Odyssey. It just looks so cool.
I love that.
That's a good, it's a good castle.
It was so fun to see them take a different look at Bowser's castle in that game.
I'm curious to hear what you thought of Bowser's music break with the Peaches song.
It was fine. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have did something more clever than a song that's just him saying one word over and over again.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously, like, you know, Jack Black didn't write that song.
yeah. I mean, it's
Or he might have written it just off the cuff.
yeah, he might have ad-libbed it.
He might have
Who knows?
ad-libbed that entire thing.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is catchy, but
It's an
like,
earworm.
Yeah,
It's an extreme earworm.
but I feel like they could have did something better. That seems like a first draft.
Also,
Yeah.
you know, about, like, when the movie starts and, like, he's just talking about, like, you know, world domination. I'm like, okay, cool, you know, militaristic Koopa leader, get it. But then it just turns into the whole thing where he's just, you know, simping so hard for Peach. Why, though?
Yeah, he kind of loses some of his ferociousness.
Yeah, it's like, why, though?
I think that's part of the joke, though.
No, I get it. I mean, you got that whole thing, and the whole he's always kidnapping Peach, and, like, in
Yeah.
Odyssey, the whole trying to force her to marry him thing.
He can be both. He can do both things, and
Yeah.
he doesn't in this movie.
But he ends up ferocious in the final fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he eventually goes,
mean-
hey, you know what? I'm just going to destroy things.
You know, and the whole, like, you know, fire breath and, like, the melting of, like, the sewer lid that, you know, Luigi was using as a shield was super cool scene.
Yeah. Oh, his fire breath looked really it's never looked that cool before when
Yeah.
he's blasting the penguin castle.
Yeah.
Also, please stop using that music from Kill Bill. Like,
Oh,
that was lame too.
that was a little lame.
Oh yeah, when the penguins come out of the castle.
Yeah.
That was just that was just in there as a trailer shot. kind of thing. That could
It
have.
wasn't in the song wasn't.
Oh,
in
that's
the
true.
trailer,
The song
though.
wasn't in the trailer. Yeah,
They
that's true.
saved that for the movie for
Like
some reason.
even when that song came up, my brain didn't even completely register that as that song.
Battle without honor or humility.
Yeah, because it's in I've heard it used in everything, and it's
Yep.
just like, ugh.
That's why they should not have used it.
I don't know. I think they did the best they could given the studio that they went with and their background and also
and all the hoops they probably had to jump through.
And the Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto specifically probably had them jump through a million hoops.
Oh yeah, they could not step out of line, especially after
Not a toe, not a hair.
like especially after the travesty that the other Mario
After
movie
the
was.
93, which go back and watch it.
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I mean, it's weird and it's not Mario, but it's not that bad.
If you go in with your expectations at rock bottom, you'll have a good time in the
I mean,
end.
it's a goofy, enjoyable movie.
It's cool. It's a cool piece of cyberpunk media, but it's barely Mario.
Yeah.
But I digress. They probably had to jump through 1,000,001 hoops and probably had some weird requests from Miyamoto because he historically has weird ideas and opinions, and if he says something, it pretty much has to go.
Yeah,
I
his word is
so-
law.
Yeah, or he'll flip the tea table, is
Yes,
what they say
yeah.
at Nintendo. Mm-hmm. I listened to a podcast the other day that was talking about a canceled Donkey Kong game that was in development. I guess at Vicarious Visions,
Oh.
the people that work for Activision.
Oh, okay,
Before
yeah.
they got sent to the COD mines,
Yeah.
where Donkey Kong was going to be able to grind on vines, and Miyamoto said, "But what about his little feet?" If he's grinding on vines, he's gonna get rope burnt on their feet. So Vicarious Visions, allegedly, this is all rumor, came up with the idea that he puts little banana peels on his feet like little shoes when he does a grind, and Miyamoto was like, "This is acceptable."
Yeah, that's you
You know what? I like it. Actually,
Yeah, that's actually
It's more fun than the other.
It's more fun. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The weird thoughts that Miyamoto has a lot of times will result in interesting things. The one I always go back to is the Metroid. Is it Metroid Prime?
Oh yeah, what if Samus could put on different heads?
And what he meant was different visors and like X-ray visor and stuff like that. But
Donkey Kong being able to blow on plants and stuff in Donkey Kong Returns, that was him too. He was just like, what if he could blow on stuff?
oh, okay. I mean, it had no.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
He has mighty lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they didn't use it.
They didn't use it for anything,
Game. In the
but-
second game, it goes away.
Yeah.
So they're not all winners, but usually
Right.
they are.
But I'm sure they had to, for this movie. I'm sure they had to jump through a lot of hoops, and this is probably the best they could have done given.
What if Mario plays Kid Icarus at one point?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, a lot of the tones and a lot of the things are there. I mean,
It feels Mario at least.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
feels significantly Mario.
Sure. But it
mean-
is relatively safe.
There's someone on the internet right now swearing up and down that that's a hint that the next movie is going to be Kid Icarus. And there'll never be a Kid Icarus
There will
movie.
never be a Kid Icarus.
there'll be a Zelda before there's a Kid.
Oh,
Icarus.
yeah.
Oh, Zelda's going to be the next one because that's the other big one.
Yep. Yeah, it makes the most sense. And, like, I hope Illumination doesn't do it, because that's not a good fit.
I would actually be okay with a live action Zelda.
Yeah.
I think, and it would be interesting. They're not going to do it, but it would be interesting if they left Link a silent protagonist.
Or if he just, like, speaks very, very little.
Very rarely.
Because that's what's implied in Breath of the Wild, that he can talk, he just chooses not to.
He chooses not to, and
more
it's
often than not.
And when he does talk, he says weird stuff because people react to him like, "Are you what?"
Well, like the Mandalorian, like especially in the first season, the guy didn't talk hardly at all.
Yeah, and that's around that level
Yeah.
of speech. I
This
think
is the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would probably necessitate Link needing like a little talking sidekick buddy or whatever.
Well, I
You're a
mean,
fairy.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
We'll hire Aquafina to play Navi in this.
or
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
or they'll go the Wind Waker route, and he's got a
talking boat.
He's got his cool old talking boat.
yeah, the king of Red Lions.
Well, I mean, Zelda can be there with him.
Sure.
You know, there's like 4 champions that are there too a lot of times.
If Zelda's there with him, he would have to say, "Excuse me, princess," at least once.
Oh, you know, they would.
Yeah.
Like
he'd
they
have
did
to.
the Princess in Another Castle thing that felt extremely forced in the Mario movie.
It did.
They could have. I know it had to be there.
Yeah.
But they could have found a better place for it than that.
No, that's fair. Was I right or wrong with Fred Armisen being the worst voice actor in the film?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of Cranky Kong was bad. There wasn't a single thing about him that was good.
Yep, I totally agree. They did him completely wrong.
When he showed up, I'm just like, why is he shouting all the time?
Because Fred Armisen isn't a voice actor.
Yeah.
But also, everyone pretty much sounds just like themselves for the most part, except for Toad. He was full on 100% putting on a voice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he was unrecognizable
And
as
Keegan-Michael Key's a really good actor.
He is,
Like,
yeah. And they could have gotten anyone for that role because it was
It's Toad. And
It's Toad.
everybody's got a Toad voice in there. It's not hard to do.
yeah.
And I'm not. Thank you, because I wasn't going to do it. Mario! And I liked Toad a lot, and how they also managed to dance around not ever giving him an appropriate name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says Toad.
Yeah.
He's definitely the Captain Toad of the Toad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He is the Toad.
He's the Toad.
The definitive Toad. Mm-hmm. But they never call him Toad. Like,
Right.
and they managed to do that without making it weird somehow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We gave Chris Pratt a lot of guff for not doing the Mario voice.
It was fine.
He was fine.
It
Could have been more interesting, but he was fine. It was okay.
They should have, if they were gonna go Brooklyn, they should have got somebody that like
Had more of a
has more of a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, I agree. But
like,
you know,
it was fine. It didn't make the movie.
serviceable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt the movie.
Yeah.
It didn't help the movie. Didn't hurt the movie. It was fine.
It was fine. And they did squeeze the Mario voice in there a little bit with that ad at the beginning, which I loved.
Yeah. That's probably the best part of the movie, maybe.
I mean, plus it had the Mario rap.
Yeah.
It did have the Mario rap.
Oh, they really wimped out on the DK rap by only having the chorus.
Like 2 lines.
Yeah.
2 lines of it. Yeah, they really kind of...
I wouldn't even have credited that as the Donkey Kong rap.
I mean, they didn't.
They
No, it's in the credits. They did.
Oh,
but they didn't credit Grant Kirkhope.
Grant Kirkhope, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just said it just said DK rap and
From DK64.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have credited Grant. He's a good composer.
Mm-hmm. Don't you have a 64 a signed 64
signed
game?
banjo? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the signed banjo.
I have 2 copies of banjo now.
Nice.
One signed. When I was going through my 64 games and like trying to get rid of the doubles, I'm like, I have 2 banjos, and then I'm like, but I'm never gonna play that Grant Kirkhope signed one.
Yeah.
That needs to say needs to say sealed away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
you need to like put that like in like a mounted in like a shadow box or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are they gonna make a Banjo-Kazooie movie now? Now that Mario made $1 million?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
we're gonna
but
start
that's-
seeing the mascot.
But that's also owned by Rare, and that falls under the Microsoft.
That's a Microsoft.
Microsoft's gonna want that money, that $1 billion that Mario was
Sure.
making. Oh yeah, we're gonna get every like half-baked video game. Maybe this is the new superheroes.
It could be
We'll get like Spyro and Crash, or
Bubsy.
Bubsy. The creator of Bubsy died.
Oh. Well, then the rights are up for grabs.
They can do whatever they want.
it's free real estate.
Yeah.
I think they could make a movie out of Crash Bandicoot.
Sure.
It has kind of a Looney Tunesian sensibility to it that would work.
I could see it.
It worked just as good as Sonic did. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. It could work. I mean, we are getting a Street Fighter movie again.
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 Yeah.
And they're working on that next Mortal Kombat again.
Yep. The next Mortal Kombat season.
I thought that Mortal Kombat movie was okay.
It was fine.
It was about as
It was stupid
it was Mortal
and fun.
Kombat. It was Mortal Kombat.
It was very stupid, and that's the point.
I kind of hope that's what's going to happen with the Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's on the list.
We will get to that.
I'm trying to think like what a wild video game movie that they should do, but
well, I mean, you have all the big Nintendo games. A Metroid movie would be good.
that
Zelda movie would be good. Honestly, I'm going down the list of who's in Super Smash Brothers?
Super Smash Brothers.
Because that's
they've been talking about doing a Metal Gear movie for literally forever.
yeah.
I wouldn't want him to do it because the only person that could direct it and do it right, Hideo Kojima.
Is Kojima, and Kojima would do it right, do it faithfully. Yes,
I'm not
it would
saying
also
it would
be a
be
very long movie.
it would be nigh unwatchable.
Yeah, I'm not saying it'd be a good movie, but it would be the right movie.
it would be the Metal Gear movie.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
You know, he's working on that film, that Death Stranding film,
movie.
but it's not. It has nothing to do with any of the main characters. It is a strictly side story, so they don't have to
tap dance around
Tap
stuff.
dance around.
Yeah, that's the
stuff.
best way to do it, probably.
Yeah,
it's
a movie set in the Death Stranding
It
world.
worked for Mandalorian to a certain point.
Yeah. Until they started crossing over
I was
with
gonna say,
stuff.
they should do a Dragon Quest movie, but they did, and it was good.
Yeah.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, there's a Japanese CG animated one.
Oh.
It's very good.
I didn't know that.
Is that the Legend of Kai or something like that?
No, it's Dragon Quest Your Story.
Your Story, that's the one. Yeah.
And it's like a retelling of 5,
right.
but it gets kind of meta part way through in a
that's
way
cool.
that's interesting. It's a good movie.
Oh, cool.
Kirby needs a movie.
Puyo, puyo.
Well, Kirby already had Come Right Back at You.
Yeah, he did. He had several seasons of anime.
Yeah.
Apparently, Sakurai worked on that. Like he was
Really?
really hands on with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, it was pretty faithful to the, except for Escargoon or whatever that Paul Lynde sounded. Guy.
I mean, that was the dub. And
Yeah, that's true.
they also made King Dedede into kind of a George W. Bush style.
Well,
character,
yeah, they give him a
too.
southern accent, but that kind of fits for the character.
Yeah,
a
it does.
little bit.
It really
Yeah.
does. And he says like Bushisms. Like
Yeah, he does.
He says words wrong and stuff.
Yeah, that's
I think if you could make a good Illumination could make a decent Kirby movie.
Illumination would actually do a really
Yeah.
good job with a Kirby movie because I think it's that franchise skews younger.
Yeah.
Until you have the Eldritch Abominations at the end.
No, they should work on most of the movie, and then when they get near the end, they should pass it off to DreamWorks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we will dig into some news.
Hi, I'm John Schnabel of the band 6 Miles to Nelly. My good friend Greg Dunham has a show here on WZMO, and it's called Long Play. He just plays full albums front to back. Now, I'll admit, I've never really listened to the show, but I'll tell you this. Anything Flash does is going to be first-rate, well done, and thought-provoking. I invite you to tune in on Friday nights at 11 and Saturday afternoons at 3. Check it out. I guarantee there's at least an outside chance that you may or may not find Long Play, at least at the minimum, somewhat enjoyable.
Hey, we are back from the break. Let's go ahead and dig into some news. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, let's get into some news there, right, Governor? Pip Pip Cheerio.
We've got a lot of video game talk this episode, but not necessarily about video games.
Video games. Video game adjacent. Yeah. You know, this is springboarding right off of what we were talking about before the break. There are going to be a couple of video game series that are being turned into shows
Or movies or something.
Let's talk about the less weird one first. So, do you guys remember Twisted Metal?
Used to play a lot of Twisted Metal.
Yeah, I was a big fan of
Twisted Metal World Tour was one of my favorite games.
Classic PlayStation 1. When I think of PlayStation 1, it's Twisted Metal is right up there, right there with Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
honestly,
and like Final Fantasy VII.
and Final
like,
Fantasy
yeah.
VII. It's like those three. But Twisted Metal, the vehicular homicide game, where it's like Mario Kart Battle Royale, but realistic
Yeah.
kinda.
It's a driving game, but you don't race. You just shoot at each other.
You shoot at each other and
with missiles and guns.
with health, with pickups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's very fighting game-esque
It's-
with the character roster.
It's fighting racing game.
yeah.
It's a racing fighting game. They are making a limited television series
It's
starring Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, and it's on Peacock.
Peacock of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's never going to be the R-rated version that it should be, because that game is relatively R-rated. I mean, in a cartoony kind of way.
Unless it's Twisted Metal Black, and that goes full goth.
Yeah, that's true.
That one goes
or
full goth.
what was the other one? Twisted Metal.
Oh, the kids one.
Small Brawl?
Small Brawl.
Yeah.
Small Brawl.
Where everyone's RC cars.
Yeah, but I was looking at the cast list the other day, and Anthony Mackie is playing John Doe, who was from the games.
Yeah.
There was someone. Thomas Hayden Church is Agent. What's his name?
yeah. There's a secret agent.
There's a secret agent. Spec. Yeah. And
Spectre had the coolest special too, because his missiles could go through walls.
yeah, and the most important one, Sweet Tooth, the evil ice cream truck driving clown man, is being dual played. The voice actor is Will Arnett. And the body actor is professional wrestler Samoa Joe.
Now, I would have never pegged Will Arnett for a Sweet Tooth.
But it
Well,
works.
Actually, I'm going to get real pedantic. Sweet Tooth is the car. The driver's name is Needles Kane.
That's true. Yes. But I think it seems like for this series, they're just going to call the guy Sweet Tooth, because
Yeah.
everyone just calls the guy Sweet
Yeah.
Tooth.
I mean, nobody remembers the actual names of the characters.
I don't
All they
know-
do is-
Oh, I don't know him either.
I don't know why I remembered that. I guess because it's such a stupid name.
It's stupid, yeah.
In one of them, I remember Sweet Tooth's dad was like the end boss in the game.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He was
I'll
like
be
a giant
surprised-
purple truck.
Well, Calypso is always the main villain on a lot
Well,
of the
yeah,
games
well,
as
yeah.
well. And he was a big
for
semi.
except for the one where the main villain is Rob Zombie.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if Rob Zombie will show up.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, they got to at least have Rob Zombie music in
Oh,
there. It's
yeah.
got to be in there.
Got to. Yeah.
I feel like at least 3 of the games almost exclusively had him on
Yeah.
the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Will Sweet Tooth's ice cream truck turn into a robot?
I hope so.
Yeah, one of his specials was turning into a robot.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, which one was that?
I just can't believe they got Samoa Joe to be the
The body.
the body actor. You ask me, that is, it's a 137% chance that I'm going to love Samoa Joe in the Twisted movie Metal Show, and the numbers don't lie.
All there is right now is like a teaser that feels like 2 teasers smashed together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like low budget, like
Oh, it's going to be low budget.
Yeah.
YouTube fan movie type stuff.
I mean, it shows the car driving and 2 guns on the car are shooting, and I was like, that's Twisted Metal.
That's Twisted Metal. That's right. Yeah.
And then you see the ice cream truck in, the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I clapped and I saw it kind of moment.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Though it would have been more interesting if they would have showed, like, I don't know, Axel,
Yeah.
who was on the cover.
Axel. Yeah, I don't know how they do Axel. Well, it'd be a guy with 2 big wheels.
Yeah, and it matters if they do Twisted Metal Black Axel, which is kind of creepy and gross,
Yeah.
or the regular one where he's not dragging his feet everywhere.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Twisted Metal Black Axel, he's stuck in there.
Oh,
and
he
can't
is
get
just
out.
the Axel. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
He is like wired into that thing.
Well, he
can't get
kind of
out.
always was, because in the character bio for Twisted Metal 2, when he first shows up, it talks about how he is trapped in the machine because the machine is what keeps him alive.
Oh,
But at least the machine gave him little feats.
In his
little foot
in
thing.
his wish to Calypso, if he won the tournament,
Tournament,
whatever,
yeah.
the Mortal Kombat of cars,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. I like it. I like it.
he wishes to be free of his vehicular prison.
I wonder if if that's the plot they'll use. Like everybody has a wish they want to come true, and they have to win Twisted Metal to get it. Like
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's such a goofy premise.
Yeah,
like
the synopsis that I've read is more along the lines of, it's actually, oddly enough, it sounds like The Postman. Do you remember that
post-apocalyptic movie?
Post-apocalyptic movie where it's a guy on a horse that is just traveling across America to deliver a parcel. It's like, I think it's something like John Doe has tasked to deliver something across post-apocalyptic America, but who knows? They could add. It could be that the parcel is a thing that ends up being part of the Calypso thing or whatever.
In the games, like the reason it was post-apocalyptic is because Twisted Metal was happening.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, the second one was called World Tour. There's a level where you can blow up the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, you
get a cool power up in there.
Yeah, you can knock the Eiffel Tower over, and you can go into the Louvre and like burn the Mona Lisa off the wall.
Yeah,
it melts.
It melts and stuff. Yeah,
and the Notre Dame was like a great sniping spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just now realizing, like, this is my junior high, like, thing. Like, this is when I was really into Twisted Metal when I was like 13.
It's scratching a very, very specific itch.
Yeah.
Between like Twisted Metal and Vigilante 8.
Because here's the thing, I didn't think I remembered as much about the Twisted Metal games as I am currently recalling, because I haven't thought about this series in conservatively 23 years.
Yeah, I'm getting hit with a lot of member berries.
Yeah.
Because the last couple Twisted Metal games were terrible.
Oh yeah, even the PlayStation 3 one that was supposed to be like its big
return, and
it was bad.
Remember when Sweet Tooth was in PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale?
Yeah.
As not his car, but a person fighting?
Yep.
It's terrible.
I always liked Mr. Grimm, the
motorcycle guy
that shot a
that
skull.
was basically the Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
he was basically Ghost Rider. Yeah.
He was also like one of the fastest, and he was so small.
Oh yeah, he was very nimble. Yeah. So speaking of video games being turned into other properties, the weirdest one, this dropped maybe an hour before we started recording, and I don't know about this one. Vampire,
despite being a humongous fan of the franchise.
Despite being a huge fan of the franchise, Vampire Survivors, the game that historically has zero plot and is all about just running around and making big numbers go up. You don't even press a button.
The plot is Castlevania.
Yeah.
There's a Dracula, but he's Italian Dracula.
He's Italian Dracula. In fact, I'm going to pull up the synopsis for it because it is, but yeah, they're making a limited series of Vampire Survivor.
It's a very limited series. It's 9 minutes.
Yeah, it might as well be, but it is. They're comparing it to the animated Castlevania show as well,
because that's the only thing it could be.
Yeah,
and why? We already have that, and more of it is coming.
So I had no idea this was the synopsis of the game and also this show. It's 2 sentences. I'm going to go ahead and read it. The game is set in rural 2021 Italy, so it's modern day. There lived an evil person named Visconti Draculo, whose many evil magics created a bad world filled with famine and suffering. Now it's up to members of the Belpese family to end his reign of terror and return good food to the table. That's all there is. That's all there is. Well, I guess technically, if you want to look at the bios for all of the enemies that you fight, there are biographies in the game, and they're all done by, what's her name? They do the Jimquisition. Sterling.
Oh,
Stephanie Sterling.
Stephanie
Sterling, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. She has written the bios for every enemy in the game. There's like 100 enemies in the game, and they're wild. But there's no plot in any of that. It just tells you, hey, this is a skeleton. This skeleton does skeleton things, and surprise, they also make good spaghetti. I don't know.
I hope everybody has really exaggerated Italian accents.
Oh, I hope so too. Like clearly American actors putting on bad Italian accents. That's the way to go for it.
Mamma mia.
It's me, Simone Belmondo,
Yep.
or whatever.
I am just curious what they're going to do when they get to the blatant Bayonetta ripoff.
Yeah.
And
They go to the milk factory.
they go to the milk factory, the 2021 milk factory, to fight a bunch of milk demons. All right, let's move on to some other stuff here. What else do we have on the list?
Let's talk about this Magic the Gathering business.
Oh, this wild
'Cause it's
Magic
a
the Gathering
wild
stuff.
story.
Yeah, so Magic the Gathering, owned by Wizards of the Coast and
Owned by Hasbro.
Owned by Hasbro. Hasbro owns everything. Hasbro and Disney.
It just keeps going on down.
Yep. So there's apparently a new pack of cards that are being released that has a very similar name to a previous pack of cards or something.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I believe it. That's what the error was.
There was a mix-up at the Magic Factory.
There was a mix-up at the Magic card, the card factory, and a YouTuber, a Magic the Gathering themed YouTuber, was accidentally sent a pack of the unreleased cards.
Yeah.
So
or either was able to buy him some. Either way.
No, he pre-ordered it and he received the previous set and he got the unreleased one instead. So it wasn't even his fault. It's not like he went to the store and said, "Oh, this isn't supposed to be out. I'm going to get it." He was sent.
Yeah, he did
the
nothing
wrong.
wrong.
He did nothing.
The onus was all on Hasbro.
Right, but as a YouTuber, and you're given a world exclusive.
Yeah.
You do
Gonna make some content.
You do a content because I mean, why not?
Yeah, that's how you feed your family.
Yeah, exactly. So in most cases when this happens, you get a cease and desist or possibly a threat of a lawsuit.
If you don't take your stuff
Not
down.
that we would know from personal experience,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
behind the scenes things and getting threatened with lawsuits. Not that that's ever happened to this show, but speaking of which, we're never talking about the Flash. Any form of the Flash.
Not even
they're going
not even the upcoming movie.
They're going right on the list, right next to Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi and the Flash franchise. No, so in normal circumstances, you would get a DMCA takedown. You'd get a sternly written letter. You might even be asked, "Hey, mail the stuff back, please. We'll give you some stuff. We screwed up, but you can't have this yet." Or sign an NDA and you can keep it, but don't talk about it until whatever.
Until it's released.
No, instead, Hasbro sent the Pinkertons, a faction of people I didn't know still existed.
The Pinkerton Detective Agency.
Yes, to this guy's house to shake him down for the cards
That he legally bought.
Yeah.
and received as an error on
Their part.
not his own, but of Hasbro's part.
The Pinkertons.
The Pinkertons.
Who I didn't even know still existed.
Yeah.
I thought they were just rolled into the FBI or the U.S. Marshal's office.
Oh no.
They're
hardcore.
The United States government is legally not allowed to hire the Pinkertons to do anything.
Right.
They had to pass a law that said no more contracts with the Pinkertons. That's how nasty the Pinkertons are.
Oh, so they're a private thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're a private thing and they're very physical.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They are a step away from the mob.
Yeah.
The Pinkertons are a step away from the mob.
They're
essentially.
the villains in Red Dead Redemption 2.
They sure are, and they
And
went to this guy's
technically-
house and terrified his wife, and shook him down for his Magic the Gathering cards. Now Hasbro did apologize for the rough treatment and sent him a bunch of swag, but also they could have just sent an email saying, "Hey, you're not supposed to have that. Take your YouTube video
please
down.
take the video down.
Please, or we're going to sue you."
Or they could do what everyone else does and just copyright
Strike
thing on YouTube, and YouTube would take it down.
Yeah. They didn't have to go this hard
No.
for Magic the Gathering cards.
No, they sent hired guns. They sent literal thugs.
Well, yeah, goons.
They sent the goon squad to this guy's house because he had some cards he wasn't
because
supposed to have.
He had cards from almost a children's card game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that's
is.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah, it is.
but-
Well,
yeah.
Magic the Gathering is still older children, but it's a children.
It's adult children.
Yeah, it's adult
Man
children.
It's adult children with more money than
Cents.
sense.
More dollars than cents is what I say.
Especially since, why does it matter? Magic sets come out every like 2 months.
It's paper squares, man.
I know.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Those are very valuable rectangles.
Don't mess with Hasbro. They're going to send the Goon Squad.
I'm on the Brute Squad.
Yeah.
You are the Brute Squad.
Yeah, don't look at Hasbro the wrong way or you'll get the Pinkertons at your house.
Shake you down for your lunch money.
Yeah. Let's hope that Hasbro doesn't try to unionize.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want them to call the Pinkertons when you're trying to unionize.
Because they're also union busters, kind of, a little bit.
They
Like
kill
the
people.
Yeah.
mob.
The
Yep.
Pinkertons killed people.
Yep. Well, it's a good thing the folks at Sega aren't also Hasbro then, because rolling into our other news topic, Sega of America, distinction of America, not the full company, but Sega of America has unionized, and they are currently the largest, and I believe it's the only multi-departmental game company that has unionized. And that's
Now,
pretty awesome.
Has
Yeah.
the whole thing unionized?
Sega of America.
That's what I'm meaning. Like,
The entirety of Sega of America.
oh.
Their union is the I had it pulled up, and it's like the
It's an acronym for Aegis, which
acronym
is
for Aegis, which is really good.
the robot from Persona 3.
The it is the Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega, or Aegis. It's a money name.
So
Yeah.
it's a very Sega specific union.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a really good step forward. More and more game companies and a lot of independent companies have started unionizing to combat crunch
saw
crunch
where,
culture and stuff like that.
Not quite related to gaming, but I saw where like a lot of Starbucks are falling under a union now too.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, job protection, wage protection. When you want to go in for a raise, you know, having the union at your back, and I could see there's positives with negatives with everything.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work.
so it's
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to work.
That's not what it
ideally.
always works.
I know, but just the idea that is there instead of being one person just going, you know,
Against, you know,
against the corporate.
Against, John Sega.
Yeah. And this is going to lead to an interesting situation where for the first time, the employees of Sega of America have it a little bit better than their Japanese counterparts.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when, Sega of Japan sends a couple of employees over to America to work for 6 months or a year, and they just decide to not come back to the home country because they have it much nicer here, which has never been the case because Sega of America has always been, well, the American arms of Japanese
Companies.
game companies in particular, but
Yeah.
companies in general.
Sega of America especially is
Sega of
always been
America's-
like the stepchild.
the stepchild. Well, Nintendo of America as well, for more or less. Not quite as bad, but yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see if this has any long lasting ramifications on the Japanese game market as well. I kind of doubt it.
Or they'll just pull operations out of the U.S.
Or they'll decide that, they'll just kind of decide to do everything in-house, and Sega of America will just disappear in 6 months. We'll see what happens. But again, good on them. I'm all for it. I'm cool with it. We have time for one more thing, and I know we have some other stuff on the show. Some of this stuff might wait. I wanna dog on those Little Mermaid posters a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So Disney is ramping up advertisement for their next live action.
Well, the one that's not going straight to Disney Plus because Peter Pan and Wendy just came out.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I have no interest.
I have no interest in Peter Pan the story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Same. I don't really care for Peter Pan.
I like Hook, but that's just because it's a good movie.
Hook is a good movie.
And
But-
kind of turns it on its head.
Yeah.
A little, like
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Peter. Yeah, I've never been a Peter Pan guy, but we're not talking about Peter Pan. We're talking about The Little Mermaid, which I believe was the first Disney film I watched as a child, and I absolutely loved it. About wore the grooves off my VHS. oddly enough.
I have almost agreed, but my first movie I ever saw in a theater was actually a Fox and the Hound.
Well, my first movie in the theater was King Ralph.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. One of my earliest memories is not of watching the movie, but I remember leaving the theater when the movie was over and with the credit scroll with just John Goodman's face, a like wide screen on the screen. I remember that vividly, and it is the weirdest memory that I have.
I can't remember exactly what the first movie I ever saw in a theater. One that sticks out of my head a lot was when I went and saw Ernest Scared Stupid with my mom.
Oh, hell yeah. That's good stuff.
And also the only movie I ever saw in the theaters with my grandparents was Jurassic Park.
Ooh, nice. Very good.
And I remember that movie terrifying me when I was in 93. Yeah.
But anyway, they're doing the live action Little Mermaid, as we know.
Yep.
And as part of their advertisements, they released a number of digital posters. Character one sheets. And, most of them look pretty okay.
Any human being looks fine.
Any human being looks okay. McCarthy as Ursula looks fine. I still think it should have been a dude in drag because Ursula
is
divine.
Based on Divine.
It's based on Divine.
Also,
it's dude in drag.
McCarthy's too obvious of a choice.
Sure.
Too easy of a choice.
Yeah.
It's definitely low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't aware that Javier Bardem was King Triton, which is a weird choice, but okay. That's fine. What I want to talk about are the 3 character posters for the non-human cast.
Yeah, the animal
Scuttle,
companion.
Flounder,
The
and
nautical creatures.
Yeah.
Sebastian,
that's the third one.
Yeah.
Picture a crab.
You're done.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. There's no... Like, I understand they want to try to make things relatively realistic because of live action, but...
It's like the complaints people had with The Lion King.
Do something different.
They're expressionist beasts that have human words coming out of them.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid is one of the most colorful and imaginative films ever put to celluloid.
And you have Scuttle that just looks like a bird.
Yeah, and then you take
And
it...
Flounder looks like a pervert. I don't care.
Yeah, you take it...
And it's because of his bug eyes. He looks like Peter Lorre.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Yeah.
But they color grade it to like middle gray and then just have it be real animals, and it's kind of sad.
It is. It's the creativity is gone.
Yeah.
It feels, this more than any other feels soulless. You know?
Especially because Little Mermaid is the big one. It's the one that
brought him back.
Disney, yeah.
It's the one that brought him back.
I mean, that started the 90s.
The golden age.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the 90s golden age.
Yeah.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast is also very good, but
Beauty and the Beast, I think Beauty and the Beast as an adult, I think might be my favorite of the bunch. I think that one's
so long since I watched it.
really imaginative, really cool.
Although
I'm a big fan of Lilo and Stitch too.
Lilo and Stitch is my favorite.
Beauty and the Beast is also a little more grounded. Like, talking furniture is more reasonable to do in CG than just real animals.
Because they're fantastical creatures that actually have moving faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not as much of a stretch.
Like, I don't want to see a real bird with Awkwafina's voice coming out of it.
No.
Which is what's happening. That's who's playing Scuttle.
Also, yeah, I wouldn't have casted Awkwafina as Scuttle. Maybe Flounder. She would be a good Flounder.
You need someone sufficiently pathetic to be Flounder.
That's true. He's kind of a sad boy.
I don't like Flounder.
He's not a good... No.
I don't like Flounder as the cartoon.
No.
I've never liked him.
No.
He seems like he would constantly talk your ear off about how Ariel has him in the friend zone.
Exactly. Yeah. And this poster doesn't help matters.
No. He just looked kind of, in the animated one, he just kind of looked like a beach ball with fins.
It's just kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big yellow bird. Big yellow fish.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of swing and a miss, I think. Swing and a miss.
I mean, I'm sure the music will be great. I'm sure the parts with the human-esque characters will be fine.
Also, you mentioned that this movie is an hour longer than the animated one. What are they going to add?
I don't know. The animated one was pretty bare bones plot wise.
Yeah.
They gotta bring in Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
They gotta do the Finny Fun song.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that animatic that they put together? Someone pitched a Kingdom Hearts animated series.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that was cool.
That would work.
Yeah,
That really would. I mean, they had House of Mouse on Disney on the Disney Channel. They could have just dropped Sora in there, and that would have been it. You're done.
Drag and drop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, hey, we have actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, or support our Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email, staff@nerdoverload.com, or you can give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline, 419-561-5556. Please call and leave a message. We might play it on the show. Haven't gotten a lot of hits on there lately.
Yeah, well, give us a call.
I had to send some text messages back and forth for myself so they didn't shut it down.
You know what this means? We've been right about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no one has anything to complain about because we've been 100% right. Mark it in the books.
Yeah.
You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. Finally, I would like to thank Parker for helping us out over at the Facebook page, finding some news articles, and David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Stay tuned for the live-action remake of Nerd Overload, where I will be a CG animated dog.